Hi guys. So today I'm going to show you a layered and texturized angled bob. So right now you see me just cleaning up or detailing after I've dried and flat ironed the mannequin. Just making sure that my design line or 0 degree is clean and sharp. And I thought it would be fun today to show you a different way to angle your bob without any vertical lines. So this is all horizontal. I'm showing you there's the design line elevated to 45 degrees. And making sure that you angle your fingers to just behind the ear so as not to cut into the hair that's in front of the ear. So you're going to have an angle that resembles the letter A in this back portion. So your horizontal sections will also be lifted to 45 degrees. So this next section down, still combing the hair down to 45 degrees, finding our guide, following the guide and cutting just a blunt cut straight across. The reason why I'm just blunt cutting for now is I'm going to go ahead and do some point cutting. So if you're wondering why I'm blunt cutting, it's because in a few minutes I'm going to be doing some texturizing and some point cutting to the ends. Sometimes I like to just go ahead and get my shape placed in, even if it's a blunt line. And I'm showing you that the hair has to be down 45 degrees, about 3 fingers from the head. Most importantly, not to rise above the occipital bone. The occipital bone would also be considered the center of the ear for some, or just above the earlobe. It just depends. But you can feel that little bump on the back of your head. So again, fingers angled down, being sure not to cut into the hair that's just behind the ear. Next section down, I'm going to show you from this angle, still 45 degrees down. Notice my hand is not rising above the occipital bone. I'm just about 3 to 4 fingers from the head with the fingers angled down. You want to be sure not to allow your hand to crush the head, which means at no point in time will your fingers rest on your client or your mannequin's head as you're cutting this angle. If you do, you're going to have a severe weight line and separation. So as long as you have that hair angled at 45 degrees away from the head, and your angle is cut in such a way that you are not cutting past the hair that's just behind the ear, see where I'm ending? You'll be able to leave the sides one length. And as you see right now with this blunt cutting, you can start to see that line being established. But have no fear, we're going to take care of that. What's important here is you see how the hair was combed straight down. It's not over directed past the crown into the back. If you start over directing that hair back too far, where it's over directed out of the natural place that it falls, you'll begin to cut and layer hair that you didn't want to. So here I'm just doing some point cutting. I'm about 1.5 to 2 inches from the ends, and my scissors are parallel to the hair. So at this point, only 1 or 2 hairs is coming off from each pass. I'm not notching nor pointing yet. At some point you're going to see me start to point cut, and then my scissors are ever so slightly angled to the left. No longer straight up and down. See, just straight up and down here. And you'll hardly cut any hair, but you'll soften it enough to remove any weight from the line. And there, if you slightly turn your, see, straight up and down, slightly turn towards an angle. So in all of the hair cutting itself may only take a few minutes, but all of the detailing could take 2 to 3 times longer. Just be patient with yourself, as this is a necessary part to some haircuts for them to look amazing. A lot of stylists stop short, just short of their haircut being amazing. It's like the picture of a guy digging a tunnel to the diamonds, and he's been digging and digging and digging, and he stops just shy of all the diamonds. So by doing all this detail and texturizing work, you're getting to the diamonds. And if you're wondering, why didn't she just cut a vertical line? Because I wanted to demonstrate a horizontal line today. And see, there's another technique where the hair goes over the fingers, like a brush style, and then you point or texturize in through the ends. I like when I get to flip the hair over my fingers, because then I get to fan the hair out. See here, my fingers actually twirl the hair so that it gets to move. It's just kind of fun and helpful, so that I don't have to actually bend my whole wrist over and get it in a crooked spot. I twirl the hair. So you can see here it looks pretty roughed up in texture. So now I'm going to go ahead and smooth it back down so that I can get to the demonstration part of the hairstyle. And at this point you may smooth it out and find that there's a little bit more detail or texturizing. It's okay if you see that you need to do that. Keep going. Some people think people who texturize hair, they're just showing off or trying to be showy. It's not necessarily true. It's definitely a necessary part of today's hair cutting. And although I think there's a place for thinning shears, I don't think this is the place for them. I think you have to do a little bit more precision, accurate texturizing. And also a thinning shear, a basic regular thinning shear, is going to take off a lot more hair than maybe you would want, and in a different way, unless you turn the thinning shears to also be parallel instead of perpendicular. So see here, it's just opened up and free, has a little body to it. And here I'm going to take the sides just ever so slightly above the parietal ridge or near the temple, and just lightly point into this top layer, not below it, just above it. You could, for whatever design you have, if you really wanted to texturize it below, it'll just give it that choppy, piecey look, which is just lovely, but in this case we're just doing a soft design. So you see, you have a soft line. It's peeking up just to about the occipital bone area. It's not too high, and it's also not too wide. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the other side with the camera off, just so I don't have to bore you with that. And I guess I'm going to get ready to show you 2 other styles. Here is Kuhn Hair Cosmetics. This is their blend line, and this is called Shape. It's a little thinner consistency, but not quite as thin as hair conditioner. So it's called Shape. And I'm just going to run this through here, this style, and just kind of jazz it up and get it piecey looking. This mannequin had to be a demonstration to do half balayage and half ombre. So if she looks a little weird to you, that's why. But see, you can kind of jazz it up, get it spiky or piecey looking. Get a little lift off the crown without heavy layering. So this could be a nice transition from a gal who's been wearing a bob, who wants a little bit of a texture and looseness without necessarily having a ton of layers, 90-degree layers, or even over-directed layers. So it's just from the occipital bone down, angled horizontal layers. And here we're just getting her back down to smooth so you can show your clients two different looks. So sometimes when I think of haircuts, unless I've cut them before, I'm sometimes not sure what I'm going to get or how I'm going to get there. So this is why I produce videos for the new learners and for even the experienced learners wanting to just say, hey, they want to brush up on some skills or try something new. So you can see the angle and the pitch is a little different, but still no puppy ears. Puppy ears are when it gets too layered in the back from behind the ear, and then in front of the ear are just two things that hang down like puppy's ears. Hope this helped. If you guys want to see anything more, just leave me a message. Happy haircutting!